Welcome to A Double
and
Dice
with your host Kim.
and Jocelyn.
Pour your favorite beverage,
Pull up a comfy chair.
because we are ready to roll.
Welcome to episode 89 of A Double and Dice. And today we're just chilling and talking.
And chatting.
Talking and chilling.
Chatting. Episode 89, and we probably won't even get 89 downloads the way the trend has been.
Right.
It's been a
Where
little
are our
soft.
listeners? Everybody's busy.
It is
Everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy at this time of the year. Everybody's busy. I don't know any more words.
I don't know.
I
It's
was-
Noah's been playing that soundtrack for the last
Yeah.
week.
That's hilarious.
Yes, and
Yeah,
I
I
got
know
to sing.
I mean, we do the podcast because we like doing the podcast, and we like to hear from those of you that listen. And the number of people that listen to the podcast is great, however many that is. Right?
Yep.
You were like all silent, like I disagree with you, Jocelyn. I want more listens. I want more listens. So, no, it's tough. Things are busy. People have got stuff going on, and we're just happy that those of you that are listening are continuing to listen, continuing to be engaged and participate, and sending us lots of great dice bag content. And hopefully, as things continue to move, hopefully upward and onward in the world of Dice Masters, we'll see more folks joining the podcast streams.
Yeah. I mean, it's been slow for Weekly Dice Arena too, so hopefully everything will pick back up. But when summer comes, it kind of tends to go a little quieter too.
Yeah, I think the difference is that we used to get a lot more listens like right off the top, like when the episode dropped. And now it seems like people are taking more time before they get to the episodes. Maybe they're listening to other podcasts, or maybe they've got other stuff going on, because eventually the numbers do rise. But that initial drop is a little bit softer than it has been in the past. But with all of that said, I love having my bi-weekly date with you, Kim.
That Kim almost forgot about.
Yeah, I had to double check my calendar today. I'm like, is it today? Is today the day?
Yeah, and then it's funny because usually Dave's not downstairs, and then he was like downstairs. I'm like, you can stay, but don't make noise. And then he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, your controller makes noise. You don't make noise. And then he's like, you have recording today? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I'm going upstairs.
He didn't want to sit there and listen to you talk about Dice Masters?
No, but he has a headset on.
Yeah,
so it's noise canceling, so he can't hear nothing.
I know, but we can always hear his video game controller, because when
Yeah,
we're
his
playing,
controller's so loud.
it is loud. So because
It's clicky.
when we're playing Dungeon Crawl Classics, right? And Dave's down there and he's playing his game, we can hear his clicker in the background. It's
Yeah.
his controller making clicky noises.
Xbox controllers make too much noise.
They are very noisy. They vibrate too, I hear.
Yes. Well, most of them do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so far out of touch on video game consoles. I have an Xbox 360. That's the newest console I have. But the one that I use the most is my Super Nintendo.
Yeah, those games are so good.
They are so good. They're my favorite.
I still have my original. You have your original.
The Super Nintendo that I have is the original, yes.
Yeah. And I bought the mini.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
We had an original Nintendo, like way, way back in the day, but in the 80s. But we donated it, like when we all became teenagers and we weren't playing anymore, we donated it to the local hospital.
Oh.
For the kids' room.
Okay.
So it's probably still there. Who knows? So probably
Who
not.
knows?
They probably have newer technology now. They probably threw it in the garbage and had no idea that might actually be worth something. But
it's true.
I did like, one of my favorite things to play on the original Nintendo console was Duck Hunt.
Oh yeah.
You ever played Duck Hunt, Kim?
Yes, I have. I never owned an original Nintendo. Super Nintendo was my ever first.
And we had the fancy gun controller, and you had to like shoot the duck.
Oh yeah.
And the dog would chase the birds, and anyway, it was fun. I wouldn't hunt an actual animal. I'm not a hunter, but it was fun to play.
Duck Hunt was fun.
Virtually. I fish sometimes. It's been a while.
I feel like if I go back and play those games, I'm gonna be like, I've been spoiled, because video games these days now are like watching a movie.
I don't like that though.
No.
No, a lot of the times, so I get motion sick sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I have trouble with things like 3D and a lot of these games where you're like first person, I guess is the terminology, where the controller is like your view and you're turning yourself around and checking corners and things like that. Like it's jerky with the controller. Like I can't do it smoothly, and when I watch other people do it, they're like jerking around and it makes me nauseous and dizzy.
Yeah.
So it's no good for me. I like good old fashioned left to right scroll. That's what I'm looking for. Or like Tetris and Dr. Mario, where it's just like dropping down top to bottom. Old school.
I haven't played Tetris in a long time.
Anyway, I love Tetris. Tetris is good. You helped me Tetris last week, Kim.
I know. You know what's funny? My wrist hurts for I don't know what I did to it.
It still hurts?
Well, I don't know. It wasn't hurting, and then like if I move it around, it's fine. It's when I like do certain movements, then I feel it.
That's because you're old, Kim.
I know I'm not that old.
We're both
but anyways, like right now I'm going up and down and it doesn't hurt. But if I do a certain like motion or something, I'll be like, ow.
I had to move some furniture, and Kim very kindly came over and helped me maneuver it into the back of my vehicle so that we could get as much of it into my vehicle and move to where it needed to go as possible. You're a good friend, Kim.
5 items. 5 items had to fit in your car.
1, 2. Yeah, it was only 5, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. And we fit it.
We did. We had to bungee the trunk, though.
But not that much. Like, it was pretty much closed.
It was pretty good. We did a pretty good job. Yeah. We maneuvered a few things around and changed it a few times to get the best configuration. So, but it was good. It was good work. It was good Tetrising.
Mm-hmm.
No unused space.
Nope. You used every single space in that car.
I still can't believe I fit that much furniture in there. So, it's crazy. The Subaru Forester. It has a lot of cargo space when you put that seat down and take the, whatever, trunk.
Cover thing off.
Which
we did it wrong anyways, but...
I put it back together, it seems to work.
Did you? Okay.
I haven't put it back in the vehicle yet. So the Subaru, this is a really exciting Dice Masters podcast, by the way. My 2016 Subaru has there's like a bar that goes behind the seats, and it rolls up or unrolls. So you can unroll it to like cover up what's in your trunk, or you can leave it unrolled if you need more height or whatever. But I needed more space, so we ended up taking it off. And when we took it off, the mechanism, the spring that, let's say you like open and close it like a roller blind, the spring popped out. But we found the spring and we kept it all together, and I put it back together. So I think it still works.
Yeah, we didn't have to unscrew it. I think we just had to like maneuver it out.
Yeah, we weren't sure. That's okay.
Yeah.
We figured it out. It's still in my living room. I haven't put it back in the car yet. Because I might need to Tetris some more things before I'm done.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's me. I've been moving furniture. You've been helping. What's happening with you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well,
I highly doubt that.
Like honestly, it's been quiet Dice Masters wise. Like right now, we're in the last round for 2-team takedown.
As we record, there is a
it's round 4.
Right,
CCM versus
Jackalope Spam.
Yeah. Which could potentially decide it if Nick wins. It'll be over. But if CCM wins, then there could be a championship round.
Wouldn't it work the same way? I don't know. I'm staying out of it.
I don't know. It depends how Challenge wants to do it, you know?
Yeah. So basically there's 20 teams. We've been talking about that for the last couple of episodes. And 20 players, 40 teams, and 3 players that are 3-0.
Let me check.
I think it's 3 players.
Yeah, there's 3 players. Nick, CCM, and Ben.
Yeah. So depending on how Ben's game plus Nick and CCM's game goes will depend on if the championship has to have a round 5.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, there could be other people who could be 3-1 as well if one of them loses. So it'll be interesting. We'll see. I don't know how Challenge does this calculations.
I think at this point there will be at least one player that's 4-0 at the end of this.
Yep.
So if there's only one player that's 4-0, then guess what? That player wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't need a round 5.
Anyway, but good luck to all the players. How have you enjoyed your time playing the 2-team takedown, Kim?
Yeah. It's been always fun as usual. I just can't roll sometimes. I would really have fun rolling. I know. My characters just don't want to roll. Like my last game, I won without my win conditions.
Well, that's cool.
So I don't even know how I win without my win conditions, but yeah. It was interesting.
So you said there hasn't been any weekly Dice Arena lately?
No, we've been canceled for the past couple, and I had missed a week because I was not around. So it's been really quiet Dice Masters wise. No weekly Dice Arenas. Dice Social's on break now for summer.
And no local games either, because I've been traveling and busy, and you've been busy, so
yeah. So it's
probably another few weeks before we get back to that. At some point, I'll have to start prepping for Gen Con.
Yep. I mean, because they're not doing anything at Origins, right?
No, there's nothing official happening at Origins. I don't know if anyone's going to Origins. Play. If you're going to Origins, let us know. How did it go? We'd love to hear about it. I'd like to go to Origins one day, but this is not the year for that. So
yeah, so I'm guessing there's nothing going on there.
Yeah, WizKids is not officially there.
Okay.
Onslaught is there. Their new baby. Their new baby that they're trying to grow into a teenager. With Baldman Games, I think. I think Baldman Games is the company that is running their competition for them for Onslaught. So they're there. Baldman Games is there running Onslaught, but there's been no word of any HeroClix or Dice Masters. I did hear that there is a local venue that runs HeroClix, and I think they're doing an event like at the store for HeroClix while Origins is happening. So if people happen to be HeroClix players and they happen to be at Origins, they could find that on like Facebook. There's posts about it, but I haven't heard anything but Dice Masters. So, but Gen Con is just around the corner, and as of the time of this recording, 12 of the 16 seats for the World Championship have been sold. So there are 4 slots left.
Oh, okay. This is hot off the press. Well, you never know in a week when this one launches.
Well, I guess it's hot-ish off the press because I think the last time we recorded World Championships weren't even posted yet. Only the drafts were posted, right?
Yes.
So when we recorded last? So since we recorded last, the World Championship was finally posted. It is an open championship. It costs $18 to participate, and there are 16 slots, and that's it. 16 slots for Dice Masters for the World Championship at Gen Con. So if you haven't registered yet, hopefully by the time this podcast drops, there's still a slot available for you. And then
how many people participated in the Worlds at Memphis last year?
I'm pretty sure that Memphis Worlds was 24 or 26. But maybe Nick can correct me because he was the judge. Or you know what? I know a way we could find out. Have you heard of this website, Kim, called dmNorth.com? They had all of the team lists up. So I'm going to look and see if I can find that while we are talking. But it was
while I'm talking.
Yeah, while you're talking. It was in the 20s for sure.
Okay, so I'm wondering why they capped it at 16 then. Do you not think that a lot of people are going to be coming out to play in the Worlds at Gen Con or something?
I'm going to say they probably capped it at 16 because of space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say it was probably because of space. Space, the final frontier. No, I think it's just the space that they have available as a gaming space. Like Gen Con, I can't remember how many events they're up to, but it's like well over 18,000. There's only so much space. And WizKids has only been allocated so much space. So as a result of that, there's only space for, I think, 16 people. I'm just trying to find where this would be, because it's not like I am a part owner of this podcast or anything, part owner of this website.
Just search.
I'm trying. I can't find it.
Gen Con. Enter.
It's not Gen Con we're looking for. It's Worlds.
Oh, Worlds. Enter.
Let's see. I can't find the search bar. Here we go.
All right.
Worlds Championship. I can't. Oh, the Worlds page isn't up. So we have our episode number 69, A Road Trip to Worlds. We have Laurier's write-up and Dana's write-up. But the actual, all the list of teams and everything is not currently published on the website. So I know that Matt was doing some reorganizing, so some of the pages may be down. Anyway, it was in the 20s.
Okay.
Mid-20s of people. And then in 2019, there were 38, I think. 38 people. So I'm assuming they're keeping it 16 because of space and also because they announced it late. So, you know, can you get to Gen Con at all is the thing. Because like even the last time I checked, not all the HeroClix qualifiers were sold out yet, which is very unusual.
You have to pay to qualify?
So with HeroClix, they are running 4 qualifiers. There's 16 player tournaments. The top 4 people in each one will be given a spot in the U.S. Nationals tournament. So that's how they're running HeroClix, which is the same as how they did it last year for Nationals. And again, it came down to space. So they're also preventing people from participating in more than one qualifier. Like you can't sign up for all the qualifiers. You can only sign up for one.
Okay. And so you can't cheat the system?
That's right. And then if you happen to not qualify, then you can wait around for the next qualifier. And then if they have a space in it, they'll give you an opportunity to register. So let's look. So we are looking at.
And do they have like Worlds HeroClix? Clips.
Worlds HeroClix is going to be in Memphis.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to qualify to play in the Worlds?
They haven't announced that yet.
Oh, okay.
So what they did last year for HeroClix was that they made Worlds an open event for HeroClix. But if you had qualifying points or had won a national championship or come in second place in a national championship, then they would give you a first round bye. So yeah, what do we got? Nationals qualifier. So the Thursday Nationals qualifier is sold out. The Friday morning is sold out. The Friday afternoon is not sold out yet. So if you want to qualify for HeroClix Nationals right now, as of the time of this recording, Friday afternoon is available still. There are 8 tickets left in that qualifier. And then Saturday morning, there's a qualifier. And there's 7 tickets left in that one. So there are still 15 slots available to qualify for U.S. Nationals at Gen Con for HeroClix. And there's 4 slots available.
And what is the actual?
Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
So they're starting it at 2 o'clock. And then it says they've got the finals at 5.
And how many people? What's their cap?
16.
Okay, so yeah, it is probably room.
Yeah,
right.
Space. Yeah.
I bet Onslaught's like 32.
Onslaught's a whole different thing. It's being held in a different hall.
Oh, because they need room for like their miniatures.
And then Dice Masters has, as we've talked about, the World Championship on Saturday, and then there's a draft on Thursday, a draft on Friday, and a draft on Sunday. So yeah. So I think.
So do you just draft, or do you draft and play?
You draft and play.
Oh, okay.
You draft and play a round.
One round.
One round,
Okay.
yeah. It's what we did last year. I don't know if it's the same this year. They've also upped it for drafts. So the drafts last year were a max of 8 players. This year they're maxing the drafts at 16 players.
Okay.
So yeah, so Gen Con will be the official start of the competitive Dice Masters and HeroClix season. And who knows what'll happen after that.
And they haven't announced any bans or anything. Well, they haven't really actually put out any type of article.
They haven't put out... Well, they did put out an article about their Gen Con plans, including Dice Masters in that article. So that went out. And they have started to put out like social blasts on like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter for all of their stuff that's happening at Gen Con. So there's HeroClix, there's Onslaught, and there's Dice Masters. So there was actually just one that went out today. I think I shared it on my Instagram story. Yeah, WizKids Gen Con event schedule.
Okay.
So it's listed there. So I saved it up, put it on my Instagram at _JoceStitch if you're interested. JOCE Stitch if you want to follow my personal Instagram. And so yes, they've announced that. But nothing on Worlds. Not a peep on Worlds for HeroClix or for Onslaught yet.
Yeah.
Memphis. The only thing we know about Memphis is that it'll have HeroClix, it'll have Onslaught, and it won't have Dice Masters.
Yeah, and there's nothing about like prizing or anything like that. So
nothing about prizing for Gen Con even for Dice Masters yet.
Yeah.
So
it'll be like the week of.
Probably.
Like the day before.
Probably it will be, but that's okay. I guess the other piece of news that we got this week, Kim, is that I don't think anyone's surprised, the House of X Dice Masters set has been pushed back to November.
Yes, it was on the solicits, blah, blah, blah site.
The solicits, yes.
Yep.
So I don't think any of us were surprised about that. The initial date was July. We haven't heard a peep about House of X yet.
Nope.
So I would imagine that they've had to push it back because it's not available yet. And but the good news is it's still on the solicits, and someone took the time to update the solicits with a new date. So maybe we'll learn more at Gen Con because there is the fan appreciation at Gen Con.
Right.
Because
didn't Secret Wars get dropped in December? When did Secret Wars get dropped again? May. Not Secret Wars. Who got dropped in December last time? Wasn't Secret Wars? Maybe not. Oh, it was Infinity Gauntlet, right?
Avengers Infinity Campaign Box. Or
I feel like something got delivered, like dropped in November or December.
There's definitely been stuff that's been dropped in November or December, but not since the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Infinity Gauntlet in August of 2020. And then we got Dark Phoenix in February of 2022. And then Superman came out in July of 2022. And then Secret Wars was April, right? April 2023.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then if the next set is House of X in November-ish, that would be great.
Yeah. Or just release one product a year.
Well, if they release House of X this year, that'll be 2 sets this year.
Yeah, but I don't know. Don't get your hopes up, people.
Kim.
Don't ever get your hopes up.
I mean, don't expect it to actually come out in November, but I think it'll come out.
No, that's what I mean. Don't thinking it's gonna come out in November.
Don't build your life around a November release for House of X.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yep.
But hopefully we will have more information soon, and I'm sure we will learn something at Gen Con during Fan Appreciation, and we'll see where things are going from there. So.
Yeah.
UK Games Expo is over.
Yeah.
Right.
How did they do there? Do you know? I didn't really read any information.
I don't remember how many people it was. but I can tell you that Ben won. Ben said
Okay.
Scott.
Yep.
So he won the event, and they also did a draft. So I don't remember how many folks it were over at the UK Games Expo, but they did hold an event, and it sounded like it was a pretty good time from what I heard about. I did listen to the dmUnited podcast, and they talked a little bit about that. So
Yeah, I think they got a good crowd.
They didn't run a modern event. They ran.
Okay.
Included the campaign boxes. So Infinity, Avengers Infinity, Justice, Justice, Warhammer, WWE, all that stuff was modern D&D. So
cool.
They called it Lockdown Modern, which was all the legal sets from Modern 2020 Threshold onwards, including the releases since 2022 to 10 players in attendance.
20. Okay, that's pretty good.
10.
Oh, 10. Sorry, I thought you said 20.
10 players.
I'm hearing things.
Yeah.
It looked like more than 10 players in the pictures.
Well, that's because the pictures don't only include Dice Masters players.
No, I mean, like, at the table, it looked like more than 10 people.
No, 10. 10 folks, but that's good.
Yeah.
It's decent. So, hopefully, we've got 12 for Gen Con as of right now, so maybe we'll get the full 16. Fingers crossed. That'd be nice.
Well, you said there's only like a few left, right? So I'm sure to fill up.
4 tickets
I'm sure
left.
to fill up. So if you're
so.
thinking about going to Gen Con, now is the decision you make. There's only 4 slots left.
Now is the time. Yeah,
yes.
For sure. So speaking of Gen Con, we probably should talk a little bit about the dice bag, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
What say you?
What say you? I say you.
You say me?
Say you talk about the dice bags?
Sure. So most of our dice bag conversation this time came from our Discord channel, as well as a smattering of private messages from Nick to myself. But let's go to the YouTube first, and we heard from everyone's fave hero, Donnie. He said, I don't know why I am always surprised that the engine of the WinCon is always higher on the list than the actual win conditions, but I am curious to see what will come up instead of Master Mold if it gets banned. I do feel like drafting is the only place that some cards see light that are or could be very good, like Emma Frost. I would love to see that come into constructive. So a lot of the conversation around the dice bag is around Master Mold. So let's remind everyone what Master Mold does.
Oh, good old Master Mold.
Master Mold Endless Sentinel says when Master Mold is fielded, when he attacks, or when he's KO'd, you will place a 5 attack, 5 defense Sentinel token in the field zone. So it is currently the number 1 win condition. We haven't had a full-on tournament, except for 2-team takedown, since Secret Wars has released. That is full-out modern. So it'll be interesting to see if anything comes out of that. But I think in those 3-0 players that we were talking about, I think all of them, are they all running Master Mold, Kim?
Who the top?
The top 3 in the 2-team takedown right now?
I know Nick is. I know CCM is. I'm not sure what Ben's running. I could check.
Okay.
So why don't
you check while I continue to talk about the dice bag? So we talked about the top cards in the 2-team takedown from our fantastic statistician who's put all that together for us. And we talked a little bit about this in the last episode about how the support cards or the globals that are on support cards are higher typically on the participation list than the actual win conditions, because they don't just support a particular card, right? A Dark Phoenix global, pay a bolt and KO one of your character dice. The next die you purchase costs 2 less is going to work for a lot of teams. It's not just a Master Mold team or a Thor team. It's anything you want to buy for cheaper, right? You can buy it for 2 cheaper if you spend a bolt, which is good energy economy. So it's often the way it is, but it does still feel surprising. And I hear what you're saying, Donnie. And then he said, side thought, what would you think if the tokens from Master Mold were only a 2/2? So I think if the tokens from Master Mold were only a 2 attack and 2 defense, I think that it would be a lot easier to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're still generating tokens at an astronomical rate with Master Mold because of the fact that you can self KO him. So I think that that is something to keep in mind. And I think if you had a 2/2 token, you would need 10 of those unblocked to win the game instead of 4, like the current ones. So would that be a little bit easier to deal with? Possibly. But at the same time, is a 2/2 Sentinel not enough? So 5/5, I think we've all determined in our opinion as players, is 5/5 Sentinels at the rate that they're being generated, and the fact that they have no maximum is too much, but maybe 2/2 is too little. What do you think, Kim?
Yeah, 2/2 seems really easy to KO.
Yeah. It'll just spin around with its point shoes on and
It's dead. It wouldn't be. Nobody would play Master Mold if they had a 2/2 token.
It's still a lot of token generation, so I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go out there and say no, but it might not be quite as powerful.
yeah.
But with that said, let's see.
So yes, Ben is playing Master Mold.
Yeah, I figured. What's his second team?
It's got your favorite card.
Thor.
Nope, the other favorite card.
Hashtag Rare Spider-Man Forever.
The other favorite card.
What's my other favorite card?
Harley Quinn.
Oh, Harley Quinn.
Yes, Hellfire Gala. So
Gang of Harleys.
yeah.
Super Rare Harley. That's a good card. So let's continue on to the conversation about Master Mold into the dmNorthTV's Discord channel, where we have a Double and Dice podcast convo section. And Jordo says, to be fair, in the Squirrel Girl / Master Mold conversation, it is right in Master Mold's name that they get endless tokens. So he's not wrong. And this is in response to, I think, Rob's email. And Rob had shared with us that he felt that maybe there should be a maximum of tokens, sort of like the Squirrel Girl had, because there was only 4 tokens. And then Nick, Jackalope Span, chimed in and says, there is a Squirrel Girl Uncommon Guardians of the Galaxy that can have endless tokens. It was only the promo card that was limited. So that was very interesting. I did not realize that. So the promo Squirrel Girl could only have 4 squirrels, but the Squirrel Girl from the set had unlimited squirrels. But the squirrels were only 1/1, and you could only generate 1 per turn. So, and this is what Nick continued with his podcast comment here. He says, I like the idea of tokens, but they probably shouldn't ever go above a 3 attack, 3 defense unless it was really hard to get. Squirrel Girl and her ripoff, Chipmunk Hunk, weren't very problematic with a 1/1, 1 attack, 1 defense once per turn. Any of these could be taken out through combat damage or direct damage just about as fast as they were made. Godcatcher and Master Mold being able to make 2 or 3 per turn with huge stats is the problem. You can't just chip away at those tokens with those stats. Matt had also said, I do agree that tokens are a problem in the game and they really need to rethink how they work.
Or some way to get rid of it. Not easily, but a way to get rid of it.
Yeah, Matt continues by saying that he's always felt that because this is a dice game, that tokens should be considered a die with only 1 level and no energy faces, should be vulnerable to anything that any other die is vulnerable to. But how do you spin something out that doesn't have an energy face or a level, right? How do you re-roll something that doesn't have an actual, Right. I'm not objecting. I'm not disagreeing with Matt. I'm just saying I don't know how you would do that. So, and then I, had a tiny brainwave. It's not a good enough brainwave, but I said, how many Spider-Gwens can you field in a turn? So Uncommon Spider-Gwen from Secret Wars says, when fielded, deal 5 damage to target character die. So 5 damage is exactly what you need to KO a Sentinel token. But she's a max 3. So the absolute max you could field in a turn would be 3. If you had 3 and were able to field them all in a single turn. So the other thought that I came up with sort of as we were having this conversation was, would Master Mold be as good as it is today if there was only 2 tokens per turn? Is it 3 tokens that put it over the edge? And Comics Mike jumped in and says 2 per tournament is good.
2 per tournament.
2 tokens per tournament.
Yeah.
So
that'd be hard to manage.
Yeah, I know, right? So Nick thinks that it's the ease of fielding tokens. He says likely 2 or possibly 3, and you get them right away. Comparing to squirrels and chipmunks, those were once per turn and at the start of the turn, so your opponent had time to retaliate. So, there's a lot of different things that we could consider when it comes to Master Mold. So, could we limit it to once per turn? Could we say Master Mold would only generate a token if it's KO'd by your opponent, as opposed to a self KO, because the ability to KO your own Master Mold is definitely puts that team on legs. Like, you've got Dark Phoenix, all you need is a single bolt. You can KO a Master Mold and get a token, right? So there's a lot of really good conversation around this, and there was a suggestion by Supernova X4, who said maybe WizKids could make a ruling moving forward to only field the token once per turn. That might slow it down. I think once per turn would make it a lot slower.
Yeah.
Right? If you could only do one of those things per turn. And Nick responded with, generally WizKids does not rebalance cards with errata. And Nick is not wrong for Dice Masters. But they do it in HeroClix. So it's not to say that they can't.
Right. But HeroClix is a little different.
Well, everything's a little bit different.
Game.
And Troy, aka Yort, jumped in and said, Master Mold isn't as good without Sinister. It's the consistency that Sinister provides that makes the ability overpowered. I'm curious to see if Master Mold is still as scary with control pieces more viable now. So Sinister would be the rare Sinister from Dark Phoenix, which has the global pay to generic, field a sidekick from your use pile, prep a sidekick from your use pile. So it's a really easy and repeatable global. It works for both players, but it is definitely super powerful because it's generic energy. So any energy that you choose can get you that. And it helps you really turn your bag around. And if you go topsy-turvy, because, as Kim mentioned at the beginning of the episode, sometimes we don't roll.
Yep.
Right?
In a rolling game.
Sinister helps you get back to where you need to be quicker. So.
Yeah. I never save energy for that.
You should. I highly recommend it. CCM quadruple 7, aka Laurier says he disagrees. Master Mold would still be overpowered. It just wouldn't be simultaneously overpowered and winning before your opponent could breathe. So that is a good comment. So I think without Sinister and Master Mold as printed is still good, but it's still probably overpowered. But without Sinister, it's a little bit harder. So, and then Yort also retaliated with, I also wish Rare Proxima had been slightly cheaper. So Rare Proxima Midnight from Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, is that the one where she feels and KOs and that one?
She KOs
whatever die.
All level 1 character dice.
Oh, that one. Okay.
And because tokens are considered level 1 character dice in the field, she KOs all opposing level 1 character dice, so that would KO all the tokens. But she's a 6 cost.
Oh,
and that's as much as a Master Mold. So Laurier did suggest that Rare Mr. Fantastic is a mini Proxima, and that is Mr. Fantastic Brainbox, which says when fielded, your opponent chooses an affiliation, and then you get to KO 2 target character dice that are not that affiliation. And because Sentinel tokens don't have an affiliation, that is a way to get rid of 2 Sentinels, and he's a 3-cost mask. So that is a good call out if you're prepping for a Master Mold team, which if you're going to play competitively at Gen Con, I suggest that you be prepared for Master Mold unless WizKids magically comes out with an errata or a ban list. So
just put something on there that's going to kill Master Molds. Just build a team of 7 and 1 just for Master Mold.
Yeah. And then Troy added that Mr. Fantastic could be part of an alternate win con, because by now I think everyone knows that the super rare Black Panther has a alternate win condition. While Black Panther is active, if you attack with 6 or more different Fantastic Four characters, you win the game. And there are exactly 6 Fantastic Four affiliated characters in Marvel's Secret Wars. So if you can pull it off to get all of them in the field and attack with them, then you win. That's it. You just have to attack with all 6 at the same time.
But they're all expensive.
Not all of them.
No. Well, Invisible Woman is a 2 cost, isn't she? One of her cards is 2 cost.
Yep. So it might be, I don't know if it's a good win condition, but it's there.
I don't know if anybody's actually tried it. So if you actually tried it, let us know, because I'm curious. I have not tried it.
Yeah. And then that Discord conversation ended with, I think the top of the meta may have a couple of surprises, but it'll mostly be what people expect. But bubbling right under is a slew of fun strategies that people can mess around with. With a couple of bans, such as Master Mold and Sinister, we could have a legitimately cool meta to play with, which I believe, Kim, is what I said.
Yeah.
I think I said that on a podcast multiple times, that we needed to ban Master Mold, Sinister, and Dark Phoenix Global. But anyway, we'll see. I don't think at this point we're going to see any bans or erratas at this point. I think we're going to see the meta that we have, and then maybe WizKids will make a decision after Gen Con. So, and then in addition to that, we've got Nick. I mentioned at the beginning there, Nick had sent some direct messages to me, as he sometimes does, by going at JoceStitch in Discord, JoceStitch. And he said, I've had some fun playing with the sheets, and this is the 2-team takedown analysis sheets. After your dive into them on the podcast, some added or just emphasized analysis. Globals and support cards always tend to take the top spots. In fact, the Dark Phoenix Global is the most common card on all teams, 11 rare and 5 common, for 16 in all. So only 4 players chose not to use it at all in any form. And he says, which leads to another point, 8 of 20 players used Master Mold. Since this is a 2-team takedown, there's twice the number of teams as players, each player only being allowed to have a character once. So in a standard single-team tournament, it might be better to consider number of players than number of teams. That also exasperates the first points. You need 2 teams worth of globals and support, so all of the very best ones definitely sort to the top of the list. And and then he is also hoping that it's Master Mold and Thor winning. So, and as we've confirmed, because Kim did the research, the top 3 players that are 3-0 are all running Master Mold in one of their teams. So, and I believe I made a prediction that Master Mold would be on the top 2 teams. So, I think that's a pretty. I think I won that bet, Kim. I think you bet me your car, so you can deliver that at any time.
Yep.
The cross.
Yeah, let's go listen to that podcast and see what I bet.
I'm pretty sure that's how it went. Isn't that what you remember?
Good thing it's in recording.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So that's like a lot of really great conversation around the meta, and it just puts me to thinking that I really need to focus on my Gen Con team and start building my dice mastery plan and practicing.
You can just totally do the Fantastic Four. Just do it.
I mean, maybe I will.
Be different.
I really don't want to play Master Mold, but who knows? I think
you said to be different. Be different.
To Troy's point, which is also one of the points that I think that we made in a previous podcast, Kim, is that there is more control that is viable now because of the reintroduction of the distraction global. So pay a mask, target attacking character die is no longer attacking. So there is an ability to keep things active in a more easy way than we had previously. And as a result, it may make teams that have more control elements viable. So we'll see.
Yeah. Be interesting.
It'll be interesting. And that's the dice bag. We didn't get any emails this week. So it was all Discord and YouTube chatter.
Cool.
Do you have any coming events that you want to chat about, Kim?
Well, weekly Dice Arena still happens every Tuesday at 9. So, but I know we've been kind of quiet the last couple weeks. July 15th is the Dice Fight XL, which is pure modern. So that's modern constructed. So I guess if you want to practice teams, you could play in that event. For if you're going to Gen Con and playing in Worlds. I don't think he put any bands in there. I didn't take a look, but I know it's modern constructed to
There's
pretty much
no
prep.
bands. They're doing everything.
The prep, yeah. And then on August 26th, I believe, is BWX Fest 6. The one-hit wonder card. Hey, I have another one. There's another one. So that one is interesting. You need to put one card on your team with 20 dice.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't even think I have 20 dice for a card. maybe in Secret Wars, because I have so much dice in my box.
I could lend you some. You just let me know.
But yeah, so we'll have to see. I don't know. I'm going to have trouble picking a card, I think.
It's hard to pick just a single card. Single card and 2 basic actions?
Yep. And I think it's golden. So, yeah. Yeah, because you don't want to go too expensive.
No, especially
if you want a good cheap card. And I think 3 cost and less is banned.
Interesting.
So that's what there's, because you know why I was like, oh, I'll do Guy Gardner again. Kim will win it again. No,
you're addicted to the winning now, Kim.
Yeah, that's never happened again. Look at me playing a 2-team takedown, but not the bottom. So I think that will be banned. So anything 3 cost or less is banned, which makes sense. And now you can't have a Guy Gardner team.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
cool. Well, those are some fun tournaments coming up. 2 of which are online: Dice Fight XL, and I guess 3 of which Weekly Dice Arena, and Breath Weapon X Fest 6. And Gen Con is still waiting for you. So if you're interested, come out to Gen Con. It's a great time. Lots of fun stuff to do there. Not just Dice Masters, HeroClix, and Onslaught. There are like 18,000 events that you can participate in. If it's a board game or a role-playing game or a miniatures game or a collectible game, it's probably there. And you can have some fun playing. And you can also come hang out with me.
Cool.
Because I will be there. And I think that's all we have for this episode, Kim.
Yeah.
So we would like to hear from you. We really enjoy hearing all of your comments and thoughts and anything that you've got to say. And we won't read it if you don't want us to. So by read it, I mean, we're going to read everything you send us. But if you don't want it read on the podcast, if you just say, I'd rather you don't put this on the podcast, no problem. We won't do that. So don't feel, obligated. If you're uncertain if you want to send us something because you don't want it to be read out, don't worry about that. We will honor your wishes. So you just let us know. And I want to hear what you're building with for Gen Con. I want to hear what you'd like to see win. What are your thoughts on the final of the 2-team takedown on the winner? Because by the time this episode comes out, we'll probably know who it is. And
I could tell you who won the first game if you really want to know.
Who?
But
tell us.
Without hearing, obviously, yes. I believe CCM won the first game.
Okay. So that'll be the first game.
And it was Master Mold versus Master Mold.
And that'll be the first game that Nick has lost in this tournament.
Correct.
Because Nick was undefeated going into this round.
Yep.
So
that's me looking him, I'm pretty sure. Because Nick was down to 1 life. And then it was CCM's turn. So he attacked with everything.
Yeah, I'm assuming that he wouldn't have done that if he wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
Laurier is pretty good with the math.
Yeah.
So, but 2 more games to go, potentially, unless Laurier
right now they're in game 2 and it's still 2020. So there is your live update that won't be live by the time this podcast comes out.
There you go. So reach out, tell us your thoughts, let us know if you want us to talk about it on the podcast or not. If not, we will definitely read it and comment back to you. And we'd love to hear all that stuff. So you can send us messages in all of the following places. You can find us on our social media, which includes Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at dmNorthTV. You can find us on Twitch, where we do live games, including board games and Dice Masters, at twitch.tv/dmNorthTV. We put our recorded games and other content up on YouTube at youtube.com/dmNorthTV. Are you sensing a theme here? You can send us an email to tripledpodcast@dm-north.com. You can at Kim on Discord at SuperK and at me at JoceStitch, JOCE Stitch. You can join our DM North TV Discord channel, where you can join the live conversation about a Double and Dice podcast, as well as all kinds of other stuff that we chat about in that channel. And the link for that will be in the show notes. And you can go over to our webpage, our actual internet site, dm-north.com. So until next time, on a Double and Dice.